Hello, my name is Redbeard Reviews. Not really. I just got the vaccine and I'm really sick. I decided that I'm going to start reviewing the Star Wars comics. Mostly because I have a whole bunch of Star Wars comics on my phone now, thanks to the May the 4th sale. May the 4th be with you. I just read the first comic ever written that actually came out 1 month before movie did. And it's just called Star Wars Number One, and it covers pretty much the from the beginning of the movie to when Luke Skywalker gets attacked by the Tusken Raider. Because comic books always have to end on a cliffhanger, that's where they ended it. I feel the drawing styles is a little weird for the most part. Some of it's alright. I mean, Leia looks fine, C3PO and R2D2 all look fine. Luke looks kind of strange. I feel the person who drew him was kind of going for that Jack Kirby style of hero, of like kind of a more muscular type of person and stuff, and it just doesn't look like Luke, really. Also, Biggs shows up for a scene and he looks like Burt Reynolds. It's weird because Biggs is supposed to be Luke's age, but he looks like he's like 20 years older than him. Let's see. Outside of that, it's more like the book than it is the movie. I think just for this part. Part of it is that the scenes that they took out of the movie that were in the book are in the comic. Are in this comic, like when Biggs shows up and tells Luke that he's going to jump ship and join the rebellion, which wasn't in the movie, but you get to see it here. This comic was written in the 70s, and comics of the 70s are kind of different than comics of today. I feel like comics of today are more or less movies with maybe a little more detail than movies can do, with just like a tad. But like back in the day, they were basically like books. I feel, like everything is written out. Even oftentimes when like the action is shown, they also tell. Also, I think the stigma of like comics were just meant for children was still prevalent at the time, and that kind of shows. And I think that's part of the why things can be so wordy. So, like, if it's a kid reading it and doesn't understand like what a picture he's seeing, it'll explain it all in the words as well, so he doesn't miss anything or nothing goes over his head, pretty much. I read a lot of I read a lot of comics from all over the place, so I see how the styles change throughout the years and everything, but and it is just that first like half hour of the movie. I think if I read this before the film, it would really make me want to see the movie, which I did not think about the book based on the movie that came out almost a full year before the movie came out. But this was good, I felt. It was a very good start to what I'm hoping is like a pretty good comic series. I know it's not entirely, I mean, none of it's canon anymore, but I mean, like, even at the time, it was kind of running parallel to the movie while also eventually doing its own thing, because I know that the movie, I mean, they did like the first, I think, 6 or 7 issues of this comic are just based on the movie, and then after that, they started doing their own thing until the next movie came out, like 3 years later, I think. I forget when came out. Sorry, like I said, I'm sick. The other thing I really liked during this part, and it was the same thing I really liked during this part of the book, and that was C3PO's character. In the book, he kind of carries this part up until we cut to Luke briefly, but 3PO is like the main character for this part until it like switches over to Luke, and that doesn't entirely happen until he starts looking for R2D2. I mean, it kind of slowly happens, but it's like C3PO and Luke Skywalker telling the story in the book here, and then it's just Luke telling the story. I don't mean to complain about the book more. It's a fine book, but this comic I think does a better job than the book did of like showing all this stuff. But I feel right away that Luke is the main character the minute we start showing his parts. 3PO still carries that first bit, but it's a lot shorter this time. I mean, it's only a few pages as opposed to like first couple chapters of the book. But I think this was a really good start, and I hope it leads into something really good. And even though I know these next few issues are just going to follow along with the movie, I'm still kind of excited for them. Just see how it's different, if it's different at all from the movie or from that book. So pretty good read. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 just for having that good start, but that might diminish as things go on if things don't get too unique in their own way. Like this came out before Star Wars was released, and then Star Wars was immensely successful. So the comics after that can just essentially ride the coattails of Star Wars, you know. So they might just get really lazy and it might turn into something really bad. I don't know, but just as like a first comic, I felt this was really good. I'd give it a 10 out of 10, and would recommend it even if you've seen the first movie already. Just that, like, it is different enough and has enough of those unique points that it would give you a little more story to the whole Star Wars mythos, and not not make you feel like you have to read an entire book like the book did. So recommended.